welcome everyone. We are going to continue our series that we are doing, and which is the art of questioning. That is the series we are doing for the HMT, the art of questioning. And the topic of today is teaching Africa common sense. I think that would be a good title for a book, eh? It would be a good title for a book. Teaching Africa common sense. Do you people think it looks insultive? Does it come across like that?
Everything you say is insultive
to a lot of people. Yeah, it could come across. I'm sure some people. Do you have the microphone? I'm sure some people might consider this to be insultive a little bit, but I don't mean in an insultive manner. I'm just trying to say common sense is needed to revive Africa. Did anybody see the microphone, the second one? Maiwa, why did you put it after finishing? I have one. It is Chris that went to sleep. Okay, so teaching Africa common sense. Yani Viju. Teaching Africa common sense. Are you ready?
Yes,
okay, Chris.
Have
you put it on?
Yes. Teaching Africa common sense. Smart people do not always do things in a smart way. Sometimes smart people can do irrational things, like gambling away all their money on the stock market, or forgetting to take adequate clothing for a back country hike in the middle of very
changeable weather. Yeah. So the fact that you are smart, the fact that people go to school, what we are trying to say is that the fact that people go to school doesn't mean, and they are smart, doesn't mean that they have common sense. Or they operate by common sense on a daily basis. But what I have discovered with Africa and Africans is that the fact that an African went to school and have BA or BSc, he has a university degree, doesn't help them to behave with common sense on daily basis, on regular basis, and that is a challenge. So what I'm talking about here is not education as informal education. But what I'm talking about here is how to make people just use logics to live their lives. Logical decisions, and learning to live common sense, take common sense decisions, and do things in a common sense way.
A degree doesn't mean you are smart. Common sense does.
Oh, and I think we should pay attention to this. The fact that people have degrees, and this is what we often emphasize in Africa, that people must get degree. But that doesn't guarantee that people behave in the right manner. It's common sense that we need to teach people. Now, I want to challenge you people to tell me what is the difference between education and common sense. Why do I say that degree doesn't mean you are smart? It is common sense that we need. Anybody want to tell me what they understand by that? That why am I emphasizing common sense instead of degree? Or instead of education?
So, the way I look at it, a degree only says that you have passed certain tests successfully.
Beautiful. The degree is only confined to the questions you were asked in that classroom or in that subject. But that doesn't mean that you have educated yourself. You have been able to question and been able to reason things out. You have just listened, consumed in, and poured out, and they have given you a mark. But common sense is as a result The common sense is as a result of reasoning and questioning. So you take right decisions having way. Common sense is the ability to take decisions based on weighing of alternatives, variables, questioning, reasoning. So reasoning and questioning, that is why I always said from the beginning that education should not be judged by degree. Education should not be judged by certificate. That true education is based on two things. Questioning or reasoning, which is one thing, or what? And what's the second one? Cause and effect. The ability to be able to judge and to be able to look at life through the lenses of cause and effect is what determines if you're educated or not. And the ability to ask questions and to reason. That is the definition of education. Not enlightenment, not information, not knowledge determines education. Educated person knows how to reason and question. Educated person knows how to judge and look at life through the paradigm of cause and effect. There is a reason for everything, and there is an effect on any decision, on anything that happens. So that ability to be able to look at life through the lenses of cause and effect and reasoning and questioning is the definition of education. And that is what will allow you now to be able to have common sense in every life situation. Okay, that's no problem. Eh? You live in Gatover. Can we continue? Dajte, yeah. Okay. Послушайте.
Whatever your background, training, intellectual...
Поменяйте тогда батарейки, если что. Поменяйте на всякий случай. It's not because of это не из-за ближе. Просто снимите и потом еще раз поставьте. Is it okay already? Снимите и вставьте еще раз. I heard that the people, снимите и еще раз поставьте то же самое. I heard that the people are not listening, they are not hearing Chris's voice. So we are going to try to fix the microphone again. Okay, let's try now. Can you read that again?
Whatever your background, training, intellectual quotient, or experience, common sense can be learned and applied in everyday situations. And while it may seem provocative, suggesting that smart people don't use common sense, this deliberate association is merely to highlight that everyone has lapses in common sense.
Yeah. Dajte mne obratno. No ni spite na mene. Ty tam motaj nazad. I w period. No скажите ей, что уже нормально. So надо дать управление пастору. I'm sorry guys, please let's go ahead and share the message. Share. Go share the message, everybody. Share. Let's go share the message. Share the message with your friends and family members. Share. Okay, please read that thing again. I'm sorry, I was being distracted.
Whatever your background, training, intellectual quotient, or experience, common sense can be learned and applied in everyday situations.
Stop. Common sense is an everyday situation kind of decision and application. So common sense is gauged by the decisions you take on daily basis. Judgment. Common sense is a judgmental situation. It's a judgmental decision. It's your judgment. How is your judgment? life on daily in different situations and circumstances. Yes, please.
The more we are trained to think one way by our workplace, family, culture, the greater the chance that sometimes we allow sloppy or autopilot thinking to take the place of common sense.
Okay, this is very important. The greatest enemy of common sense is the ability, the greatest enemy of common sense is the tendency to do things automatically, to do things in routine form, to do things in autopiloted. So that just to do things by instinct. So instinct is the greatest enemy of common sense. It's what makes you animal. It's what makes you biomasses. Because God gave man the mind, active consciousness. That is what makes man man. But God gave to animals instincts. Even though all animals, we too are animals to some extent, we also have instinct. But we are not supposed to be ruled and guided by instinct. We are supposed to be ruled and guided by our mind, active consciousness, actively engaging our mind. So the inability to actively engage your mind is laziness of the mind. That laziness of the mind is what makes us to always do things automatic. No, just do things by instinct, by reflexes, by automated, by routine. Now, how do you know if you live by reflexes or by reasoning? Check out yourself. How often are you in the here and now? Your ability to always be consciously aware, to always be here now, or at all time, never daydreaming and never flying in the air. That is what determines if your common sense will be active as well. But the more you are absent-minded, the more often you daydream, the more you do things right now, not thinking, just walking and doing things, but your mind is somewhere else, the more you are animalistic. And where is that book? That's why I wrote the book, How to Be in the Here and Now. Teaching you to live a conscious, active consciousness, to be in conscious mind, to live out of your consciousness. So that is your ability to be in the here and now. Your ability to be in the here and now is what determines how human you are. But an ordinary person, science has confirmed this, is always absent-minded every 2 minutes. Even when you are sitting here, you are already somewhere already. Even though you are looking at you, and I'm being deceived thinking that you are here. But you are actually already somewhere. So every average person, that is average person. That's why in this book you will see exercises that will train you, like we did exercise today. You have exercise in this book that will train you to master your mind so that you can concentrate without blinking in your mind for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. You can overtake it. You can overcome that absent-mindedness. That is the act of, it's called the science of being in the here and now. And you've got to train yourself to do it. I started training myself in this science at 15 years old. When a teacher came and said, I think it happened with all of you. A teacher was always coming, hey, why are you sleeping? Why are you absent? Why are you daydreaming? Stop daydreaming. Where are you? I was always thinking, so what is this daydreaming? So we asked the teacher, he explained to her what daydreaming is. Then I started fighting it since that day. I was 15 years old. So if you have noticed me, I'm always sharp, always alert, always at alert, or almost 100%. And that's because I had declared war against that since I was. So active consciousness, I'm always engaged. Paul, you wanted to say something? Paul wanted to say something. Let's give her the microphone. Come this side.
все черное сегодня. Все в черном сегодня. So when we were doing research for our presentation with Zoe, we found out about how much free time you really have in your life, and one really shocking fact was that the majority of your life was just spent sleeping, or like 26 years of actual sleep, and then 7 years of trying to get to sleep. Anyway, sleep took up a lot of time in our lives. And I was
one third of our life is sleeping. 1/3.
And
for some people, it's more.
Should I,
This is without talking about daydreaming. This is just the real action.
Exactly, and that's what I wanted to bring to. So if we already spend one third of our lives sleeping, then we wake up and we go to work and we go around just on autopilot. We don't think about anything. We just think, okay, I have to go to work, gotta get my money, okay, gotta pay my taxes, gotta come home, gotta eat, because and then we're daydreaming half of the time. Then not only 1/3 of our lives, all of our lives will go on sleeping. So, I mean, already so much
That's
time.
why we must declare war against the dreaming.
I mean, I think we've all seen it before, especially with so much information age, that like even if you have a goal, it's so easy to just fly away somewhere, like when you're trying to plan something or just like get enveloped in something else. We have to remember that we really do not have as much time as we have, and that if we're sleeping our whole lives, then when will we wake up? And I don't think this only applies to individuals, because when we exactly when we're talking about value systems, that takes working on yourself, that takes planning and being alert enough to identify your problems and work on them to have the right values. But if you don't even think about it, if you don't even acknowledge it, you're just daydreaming somewhere about, oh, God have mercy on us, then how will we get to the point where we can change our attitudes? Like, I've heard this about Ukraine too, that people want a better quality of life in their country, but they don't realize that with their own actions of not having any service in businesses, or having bad attitudes towards people that they don't know, they're sleeping. They don't know how they even act in the European countries that they want to be so much like. So they're just daydreaming. And just how I'm really glad that we're talking about this today, because that just gave me this revelation.
One day I'm going to teach it how to develop a nation through active consciousness. One day I will talk about that as maybe HMT one day. Okay. Thank you, Pro. So let's come back to the class. We come back to the note. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you can read it again.
The more we are trained to think one way by our workplace, family, culture, the greater the chance that sometimes we allow sloppy or autopilot thinking to take the place of common sense.
Yeah, so autopilot thinking, autopilot lifestyle is the problem. That is, absent-mindedness, daydreaming. You autopilot. You just do things, especially when you live in Western countries, like in Germany especially. That is autopilot. They write everything for you, instructions. They just make you, tell you everything to do. So what you need to do is just to follow the routine. You don't need to be creative anytime. That is a problem. So you have to force yourself to be creative. You have to, come against, especially if you work in corporations as well. If you work in big corporations that everything is already set out, they just give you your, what they call it, job description. And you just go through the routine. That's 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. You are burning your life down. And you think you are, at least they are paying you salary, but you are actually dying because you are living. That's what he's talking about. That the more your workplace trains you, the more your workplace makes you to do things automatically for them, the more you become less human. The less human you become. Or the more your family has made you to do what they want, the less human you become. And culture also. You do what the culture, everybody, you are at a comfort zone. That is why some of the greatest thing that could happen to you is to always come out of your comfort zone. Don't be in comfort, because comfort will condition you also to automated or autopiloted life like this as well. So anything that will make you to be creative, to be always active, is what will really help you to live a common sense life on a daily basis.
Common sense isn't a one-stop destination. It is a way of thinking that needs constant nourishing and application. Number one, familiarize yourself with the purpose and meaning of common sense.
So how do we develop common sense in ourselves? And how do we train Africa to live by common sense? We need to actually tell Africa that there is a difference between common sense and education. There is a difference between common sense and going to university. There is a difference between common sense and degree. And that common sense requires active consciousness, constant questioning, constant reasoning. So it is the constancy of your reasoning and reasoning around cause and effect that will always make your mind to be active and be taking concrete decision about every matter, not taking a stereotyped decisions or stereotyped lifestyle that everybody would do. If you've been following me for some time, you will see that everything that people talk to be normal, or people think to be normal, or people call normal, I'm always against. My own is always opposite. Have you noticed that? If you've listened to my teaching for some time, you would know there is no way you will not notice that. Why? Because most of those things that people do,
That's autopilot.
it is autopiloted. It is because somebody has done it before, or somebody has informed them, or that's the way all Christians do. Christians must be like this. Church must be like this. So when you see me coming, I'm in processing everything through. Everything is actively processed. In everything I do, consciously processed. So that's why you see my books. But okay, when was the last time you read a book on how to be in the here and now? When? I don't think there's anyone in this auditorium that a whole book, not the article, that has read a book on how to be in the here and now. And not just here. In America, you will not see somebody who has read. In Germany, you will not see somebody. You can hardly see. Why? Because I never saw a book like that myself. It is through active consciousness that all these my books come alive. You will not see a book from Dr. Sunday Adelaja that will say somebody has written it before, or no way. They are all coming from active consciousness, from reasoning, constantly reasoning and questioning everything. So what I'm teaching you is what I do, what I live. So, but Christianity and the whole world, it is convenient for the world to be automated. You know, don't ask questions, don't talk, don't give me a headache. Just do what they tell you to do. That is what the world likes. But they are decreasing you. They are dehumanizing you. Things are working for them, but you are nowhere, you are nobody. I don't know, some of you who have been Christians for more than 10, 20 years, or 15 years, at least more than 10 years, you tell me, and if you want to be sincere, you will know what I'm talking about, that if you have listened to all the main leaders, pastors, all pastors, they are just repeating themselves, believe me. If you have read the books of Kenneth Hagin, Kenneth Copeland, and all those, finish. Nobody is saying anything. Everything is just mixing everything up and doing it in their own way, repeating the same thing. I will not say 100% all of them, but majority of pastors, all these charismatic pastors, all the things, and you are still going to that church. Why are you wasting your life like that? But not with Pastor Sunday. Any of my topic, even some people have never even heard of it, talk less or come across it. Pastors. So when I'm talking, they think I'm heretic or I'm coming from another world, because everything is with fresh relationship from God. And this is not talking about Africa. I'm talking about worldwide. church shift. Who thinks about that? Kingdom driven life. You know, any book. Take any book. How to think like Steve Jobs and how to produce King James, and you know, everything is original. So, and you can be like that too. You know how to be? One, questioning and reasoning, and around cause and effect all the time. Why am I doing this? Why is this like this? What will come out of it? Why? Question everything you do. Question anything, everything around you. You always constantly increase and improve that way.
Пастор, поправьте меня, буду ли я прав. Я хочу
No,
вас
no,
реально
no.
понять
He's speaking Russian.
и реально это взять. Но вопросы, как мне сейчас кажется, вопросы и то, что вы показываете, это все инструмент, и вы это задействуете и показываете своим примером. Но вопросы это инструмент, и вы их используете, потому что вами движет понимание, что всегда есть место для улучшений, что всегда есть лучший вариант, всегда есть интересный вариант, правильнее, выгоднее, или всегда есть...
So this is one of our pastors here, one of the Russian pastors here. He's asking the question that, Pastor, questioning, you are always living that life of questioning. You are doing that, is it because you are aware that you need to constantly improve yourself, that you should never rest on your oars, or are you? Is it just that need to constantly improve yourself that is making you now to question everything?
Ну, это вообще был как бы вопрос, мы размышляем. Ну, пока поэтому. У меня есть еще...
Это правильно.
Почему я это озвучиваю? Потому что, пастор, я вижу ваше сердце, вы разрываетесь.
Don't touch it.
Говорите нам, как, что надо им постоянно задавать вопросы, для просынательства постоянно.
Sometimes you need
Но
to
вы
leave.
нас, как бы, я переживаю, чтобы вас не разочаровать, и чтобы вы не разочаровывались. Потому что вы нам говорите, используя это, как будто бы это цель задавать вопросы. Но не это цель, это инструмент. И если бы нас заинтересовать, что, ребят, задавать вопросы вам, это интересно, это классно, это круто, это ваш шанс, это ваша возможность, это инструмент. Потому что, если я пойму смысл, что у меня нет границ, что вопросы это инструмент мне раскрыть, лучше, там есть столько, что ты даже не представляешь, я сам буду бежать задавать вопросы. Я не остановлюсь никогда. Итак,
Это инструмент, но это ты не сможешь сказать человеку, что он обнаружит, если он будет задавать вопросы. Потому что если он будет задавать вопросы, это самое, пускай он просто это делает. Он сам обнаружит что-то. Пускай не надо даже говорить, это инструмент или это цель. Ты просто начни задавать вопросы. Даже не надо тебе ничего говорить. Ты сам будет только, no. Открывать. He's saying that, so do we need to be telling people that questioning will lead you to greatness, or maybe you become an achiever, you become this? I said, just teach them to question. Once he begins to question everything himself, what he will discover, I cannot guarantee you what you will discover. But the fact that you will discover something, it's 100%. But if you could learn to question everything, that questioning, that lifestyle itself, вот можно сказать, что это задавать вопросы, это даже больше не стрессовый или инструмент, а это должно быть, Нет, это должен быть как бы образ жизни. Пускай это будет образ жизни. Вот, то же самое, что сердце бьется, да? А почему сердце бьется? Вот Бог так создал, образ жизни, она так функционирует. Но благодаря тому, что бьется, я живу. Так и вопрос. Когда мы будем просто вырабатывать себе это образ жизни.
как Паскаль сказал, если я мыслю, значит я живу.
Да, 100%.
Это единственное достоинство.
So he's saying that, Pastor, what you have said now is the confirmation of what Pascal said, the French writer. that I am alive because I reason. While I reason, I live. I say, exactly. You are only alive. That's what I've always been saying. You are only alive when you are reasoning. But when you do things automated, you are dead at that time. You are not alive. You live. You are only, okay, let's say we have 24 hours in a day. And out of that 24 hours, you didn't sleep. You are just alive. But you are actually alive only the moment when you are actually thinking, reasoning.
И это одна тема. Второе, не могу не поделиться с вами, знаю, что вы это цените. Недавно мне попалась одна книга, я задался вопросом, как более эффективно учиться, и есть ли способы. Я слышал кое-какие от вас, интересно было мнение других экспертов. И мне попалась одна старого издания советской книги, одного ученого, психолога, занимавшегося или подготовившим такое издание для студентов и учеников старших классов Советского Союза, для их эффективной учебы. Какие есть варианты эффективнее учиться? И он проводил исследования, почему вот ребята отвлекаются, или мы отвлекаемся, улетаем. И действительно, сначала рассматривалось это как животный инстинкт, как вот отсутствие концентрации, и многих списывали, там в другие школы отправляли, представьте, он слабый, у него когнитивные функции, это есть такие специализированные интернаты для слабоумных.
Ты что?
Вы что? Добрый день, это полно.
Ужас.
И даже не дают ребенку шанс.
He's just talking about the fact that he came across a book by a professor who, during the Soviet Union days, who did an experiment and research on why some students fail. That they started in the Soviet Union, they have different schools for what they call, what do you call them, retarded children. Yeah, children who have low cognitive power to study. So weaker students, like I think in Germany also you have it. Schools for excellent ones and for the average ones.
That's what I said.
And he's saying that, but that kills some people because everybody has the potential, but once you that's the easy way to do it. So this one, like for example, if I had been in those societies, they would have put me in the, but they don't know that I could still come up, you know.
Да, но что он, какую мысль он там доказывал в этом учебнике? Проведя ряд экспериментов с детьми, на которых тыкали учителя и показывали их как безнадежные, которые отвлекаются, которые все, он говорит, оказывается, у всех есть внимание и концентрация. И как он доказал? Он пришел к родителям, пообщался с ним и говорит, а чем ребенок ваш дома занимается? Говорит, целый день смотрит мультик. То есть целый день концентрация у него на мультике, а в школе он отвлекается. То есть у него есть концентрация. Оказывается, это вопрос области интересов, управления и умения делать одну тему интересной, другую слабее интерес. Это вопрос ценности, оказывается. Потому что многие могут выбрать...
So he's repeating the same thing that we spoke about yesterday or 2 days ago, that what is the difference is that because the man did experiment and discovered that some of those people that they sent to those lower schools, that he did experiment, he went to those families, that they had intelligence and they had concentration and cognitive power too, all of them, but they had different interests. So, for example, some of them it is in football or soccer, they have that. Some of them it is in watching movies that they have that. Some of them it is in playing with some instruments that they have that. But in the classes, because they cannot concentrate, because it's not the method of their own that gets their own interest. So they just remove them and say, no, they are not capable. And you remember I told you that is what my challenge was in school. And that Professor Chris Imafidon, that is exactly what he says as well.
То есть кто-то может ссориться, и поэтому это не совсем уровень биомассы, это скорее вы нам показываете многогранность, потому что раньше существовал шаблон, и так у многих людей самооценка о себе, что я человек, а у человека, как известно, и это как-то вмонтировано, я так понимаю, с обществом, что мы узконаправленные, ты не можешь быть многогранным, вы несете нам послание, что ты многогранен. И поэтому с вами интересно, и мы уже практикуем ту же самую силу концентрации, которую мы неосознанно применяли,
Как раз мы говорили об этом 2 дня или 3
Да.
дня назад здесь. Когда, ну, я не знаю, ты был когда мы говорили о профессор Крис Имафидон. Это его канал. Он выпускает в Англии гениальные детей, больше всего. И его детей заканчивал школу в 6 лет, 7 лет, 8 лет, 11, no, 9 лет. В 6, 7, 8, 9. И заканчивал университет в 11-12 лет. И они выступают больше все. Эти дети, которые списали, а он просто находит их области интереса их. Мы как раз за тему считали на эту тему.
одна сторона это область интереса, но что я тоже раньше так считал и думал, что я безнадежный, пока не встретился с вами. И на сегодняшний день я раньше считал, что я вообще никакой не технический. Но вы показали концентрация, все возможно, только попробуй, задавай вопрос, начни просто терпеливо как бы учиться. И у меня начало получаться. Я уже несколько технических профессий освоил. Не мастерский, не супер уровня, но могу выполнять задачи, могу выполнять работу. И к чему я вел? Что может быть биомасса не совсем подходит, может быть наш инстинкт, что животное, режим животного не совсем корректно. Так как у тебя есть концентрация, только она неосознанная, ты ее обнаружь, брат, поставь себе на службу, применяй в других сферах. Она есть. И там ты интересный, там ты можешь пересказывать, там ты все нюансы замечаешь свои.
Да, но все равно надо ему объяснить, что когда ты отключаешься, это все равно животный режим. Это факт, никуда не денется.
Он не отключается, он переключается на то, только автоматически.
Да, но все отключаются. Даже ты сидишь сейчас и смотришь на меня глазами, а в это время думаешь о чем-то другое, ты отключился. То есть, это же факт. То есть, поэтому это то, что есть у всех людей. Это у всех людей. Но когда ты есть активное осознание, это даже когда ты переключаешься в том, что тебе интересно, это ты все равно должен включиться. А когда ты не включаешься, это все равно животный инстинкт в это время. So anyway, what he was saying is that when he came to the church, he was also told that he doesn't know anything, he will never become anybody, and that until he started listening to me, that it is when he started listening to me, that now he has several specialties, and they are scientific or technical specialties. But this is because he started listening to challenging messages. That it's not just the shablon. I mean
Sharpness.
No. What do you call it? When I say don't call people stigmatized.
Okay, so
Yeah,
stigmatization.
don't labeling. We shouldn't just use the labeling of people that you are like this and you are like this. That's all. And that we should, let people experiment themselves in their areas of interest. Anyway, let's continue. Otherwise, we are going to be distracted.
Number 1, familiarize yourself with the purpose and meaning of common sense.
Did I have no problem?
According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, common sense is about exercising sound and prudent judgment based on a simple perception of the situation or facts.
Sound and prudent judgment. Judgment. So common sense about judgment. Being able to take the right decision at the right time concerning it, given matter. Considering all situations and circumstances.
This definition suggests that common sense depends on not overcomplicating the situation, or simple, applying experience and general knowledge to the situation, sound and prudent judgment, and implicit in this is self-trust that your considered experience is valid for future situations.
Okay, for example, in Nigeria, some people just want to come and pick big grammar. And the big grammar, nobody understands it. But that is not common sense. It doesn't make sense. If you want to communicate to people, you have to speak to them simple in a way that they will understand you. But when you overcomplicate things, even though you are smart, you just want to prove to people that you are smart, you are intelligent, you are educated. That is not common sense. If I had been in Nigeria, I'd be preaching sometimes in preaching. But everybody in Nigeria wants to speak. But unfortunately, I don't speak Pidgin so much. Well, I would have been doing that or speak Yoruba. Why? Because common sense means the aim is to connect, and communicate. But if you want to just show grammar and how big grammar you can speak, that is not common sense. It's overcomplicating things. And so education doesn't always make common sense. Even though those people are educated, they know all those big words, but they have lost common sense because they are overcomplicating issues. Whereas common sense is just the ability to take the right judgment, considering the facts and circumstances, that will give the best result at this particular time.
Karl Albrecht calls common sense practical intelligence. He defines it as the mental ability to cope with the challenges and opportunities of life. He explains that common sense is situational, dependent on context, and that your common sense in one aspect of your life might be excellent while failing abysmal in another aspect of your life.
Yeah, so not everybody will be able to apply common sense everywhere in every situation. Because in some situations you are more concentrated than the other. In some situations you are less informed about other situations. In some other situations you are not interested even. So the fact that you have common sense in one area of life doesn't mean that you are going to have that same common sense in every area of life.
Common sense is basically thinking that prevents you from making irrational mistakes or decisions. A thinking approach that may open your eyes to the possibility that insisting on being right prevents you from seeing the bigger picture.
For example, I was talking with somebody was writing me the other day, and he wrote and said that I was in the university, I was doing well in my first year, then the second year, I had spiritual attack. What is that spiritual attack? So because they were treating spiritual attack, 3 years they were going from one prayer house to the other, one mountain to the other, until the brother or cousin or uncle came from abroad, from overseas, and said, let's go to the hospital and find out now. Maybe doctors can tell us. Then when they got to the hospital, they said, he's having depression out of the stress of the educational system that he went into. It is depression. Spiritual attack. So you see, no common sense. This spirituality in Africa has made people to lose common sense. If they had taken him to the hospital, he wouldn't have lost 3 years of his university education. Another one also was having depression like that. They went and put him in prayer houses. They put chain in his leg and they said he's not talking. So it means he's demon possessed and doing deliverance. And he was in that place for 15 years. Depression until he became mad by himself. Praying. So there are some things that common sense will fix in Africa. The teacher or your pastor is telling you have to come to church every day because you don't know when God will come with your miracle that you need. Because if you miss one service, he might not be there that day. So, or they are telling you the more you come to church every Sunday or 3 times a week, or every week, every day of the week, the more you show to God that you are faithful, so God will now send you miracle. And you are not working, you are not researching, you are not doing common sense. So I personally believe we need to teach Africa common sense. And especially when it comes to preachers and churches. Churches and preachers have destroyed common sense. For example, somebody was I was teaching, I was writing articles those days that Jonathan, we didn't need him. He was, and I was giving argument. You say, you are not spiritual, it is carnal. What? I'm giving you fact. You are saying it's not spiritual. Why do you need spiritual? You want to elect a president. You are saying you are not spiritual. Is it God that told you? I said, it's not God. I'm just reasoning. Ah, no, you are carnal. Is it not president who want to shoot? So a lot of things in Nigeria. So then in some churches in Africa now, they are announcing it. Don't listen to Sunday Adelaja. It's secular knowledge that is teaching. Eh? No, some people are writing me to tell me that he is giving secular knowledge. It's not spiritual. It's not scriptural. So when I say you should think, it's not scriptural. Eh? So what I'm saying is that common sense, we can use common sense to revive and restore Africa, because we need to deliver Africa from those churches. Churches have made people to sacrifice common sense. Do you know that the other day, somebody, when we were calling it, somebody called in and told the story of, or was it yesterday or a few days ago? Oh, no, I think it was, I don't know where I remember where I got the story. Somebody was telling the story that they were going to Apostolic Faith Church. Maybe it was here. And that the daughter died. One daughter died. You said it. And yeah, because no common sense. Appendix rupture. Because they said they are taking the girl to the hospital, but the father went and took the girl from the hospital and said, it is spiritual. So it was appendix, it was appendicitis. They took her back home, they were praying. They took her away from the hospital, from the operation table, because they have to pray. We need common sense to come back, especially to combat these churches. How can they be telling you to be coming to church every day, a mega church? A mega church. And people are coming, 2,000 people every day in the morning, 10 o'clock. Do you know that in Oyede Post Church now, 6 o'clock every day, they are doing prayer? Is it 5 o'clock?
Any hours in the morning.
They are doing lunch hour service from work.
No, it's not possible.
Yes.
Lunch hour too?
Yes.
Hey. You don't finish.
Any hours in the morning.
So they do services in the church. 6 o'clock in the morning, you must be in the church. Then 2 o'clock, when you have break, lunch, you have to go and do lunch service. And then 7 o'clock in the evening, you have to do evening service.
This slavery.
The 6 o'clock in the
They
morning.
do the 6 o'clock in the morning, and if there's any program going on in the week, then they will do a 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock. Then in the evening at 4 p.m., the staff will have to meet for another 1 hour to pray. And there's another thing that has been a bother to me, is that during the Sunday service, we would have had all of the services, and then after the church service, they take advantage of the of Sunday service. Yeah, so the church meetings after the Sunday services, we have to go into those meetings and start praise and worship all over again, give testimonies and pray, and somebody will come and give a word, and then the meeting would start, and then when we finish that meeting again, we would pray and close. Winners, yeah. Yeah.
Winners.
It's bad.
That has been a
Did you know each other there?
No.
No, he was
Yeah,
in Middlesex.
It was bad.
It
I
was
know
really
our
bad.
husband. Very active man.
What will you say? Is it true?
Yeah, it's true.
No, don't leave her alone. Because she was in that church. See the way they have captivated the minds of
It's
our
really
people.
bad. Winners is bad.
See, somebody should go and find for me a video where children were praying in the school, and the lady Ngozi something was rejoicing and said, "See my class. This is my class and my children. They were praying in class. Instead of it was in the class of chemistry. Instead of them to be doing classes, they are saying revival broke out. Revival broke out when you are supposed to be doing school." I said only God will deliver this country. You have the video? Please give her the video. Let's show you. The parents sent the children to school
To go and learn.
to go and learn. And the woman is teaching them to speak in tongues at the expense of the government. And then instead of doing classes, they are praying in tongues all the time. And he's putting it, taking the video, putting it in the internet and saying, no,
Revival.
my class, revival broke out. So thank God, we need every school in this country to become like this. Every class in this country to be praying like that. So who will go to become engineer? Who will become doctor? Who will become teacher?
In Europe, she will lose her job.
Huh?
I say in Europe, she will lose her job.
These people don't kill that other continent. Yes, Gatova was. Video. Yeah. We need, so now let me ask you that question again. How can common sense help develop Africa? Or you still not getting it? That common sense is we need to teach this everywhere. To church, to school, to children, to women, to parents, to that use common sense. Don't just follow these people because they are your parents or they are your this and that. We need to teach our people common sense. Nobody wants to talk about it. Okay. Then let's see the video. I'm going to show you the video. So can you read that thing again first? Chris.
Common sense is basically thinking that prevents you from making irrational mistakes or decisions. A thinking approach that may open your eyes to the possibility that insisting on being right prevents you from seeing the bigger picture.
Parents, Paul, what will you have to say about this thing we're talking about? Let's hear Paul. She might have something to say.
Okay, I had to be respectful this time because Mom scolded me last time. But okay, so first of all, I really like how things that seem just common and simple, like asking questions in common sense, you know, how you show how deeply they really can change a country, a school, and a person. Like how these things can make the difference between a human and a biomass and an animal. It seems that common sense is just something everybody is born with. Of course, if the light is red and there's cars, if the light is red and there's people crossing the street, don't try to quickly slip by. Or if there's cars run on the street and the light and it says not to go, then don't go. But now I see that all these things you have to be taught them. For example, the reason I know about the red light and...
You have to teach everything.
Yeah, the reason I know about the red light, green light, is because we had to play games like that in kindergarten. Like, what do you do when it's red? What do you do when it's green? All these things, they're ingrained with you in you
Is automatic.
from childhood. It seems like a game, but they teach you that. But in Nigeria, what do they ingrain? Prayer. Prayer and blaming things on Satan. So then it's... So then instead of something...
demons and curses.
Yes, demons and curses. So instead of ingraining something in children that will grow them up to be responsible citizens, like we were being showed by Dr. Value System about how they teach Japanese kids to clean the school after themselves. Instead of teaching children how to, ask questions, instead of teaching children how to achieve your potential, instead of teaching children how to read books, how to draw the best in everything, you teach them, don't ask questions, just do everything you're told, just pray, just blame everything on the government or on demons. But the problem is with us, because what do you do every day? Do you go out and stand in front of the government buildings and say, this is your fault, this is your fault, this is your fault? Is that how a person lives? No, a person lives by making decisions. A person lives by thinking and having a plan, having a goal, and going about the things they need to do to have that to achieve that goal. But the problem is they won't even teach children that elementary stuff. How do you get from point A to point B? Instead, people just go and do things randomly without thinking about anything on autopilot. And then when problems occur, what do? Well, I guess you pray in tongues. That's what we learned in school.
And I'm going to show now how people are praying in tongues instead of studying. Let's have a look at this video. His book is a book. But what is even more annoying about what this lady did is that she took the video as the teacher. I'm boasting that this is a class, you see. Revival broke out.
And she joined them in the revival.
She joined them in the revival. Okay, let's look at the video. Classroom, no book, nothing. See what they are doing in classroom. See what they are doing in classroom. See what they are doing in classroom. No studies, no education.
They are crying, so sweating and crying.
Nigeria.
What do they even know about crying?
You are brainwashing people right in school. So what is church meant for them? If this is school, so what is church?
It doesn't like
common sense. See books is abandoned. But what is even more interesting about this thing, let me tell you. What is more even frustrating and annoying is that there were about 2,000 comments under this thing on Facebook. And all of them were saying, hallelujah, yes, hallelujah. Hallelujah. We need more teachers like this and more schools like this. Revival has come. Hallelujah. Thank God for Nigeria.
And you know the funniest thing is that a lot of pastors will not even see anything wrong with this.
This is a testimony in Nigeria. Testimony. That's what she was doing now. She was putting it there as testimony. They don't finish our mind.
I can't believe that people are proud of this. This is actually very, very something to be ashamed of, because this is actually going against Jesus' teaching, who says that when you pray you should go go in your secret, lock the room. This is a school. This is meant to teach people knowledge, and these are young children. So this is what they grew up with. No.
They will grow up. You know what is going in their mind? They will think this is the norm. They will think it's spirituality that develops a country.
Yeah.
And that's why the pastors and the president will be gathering pastors in the stadium to pray for the economy to grow. Instead of going to work. Gatove. Okay, the way this national army production will share, that will probably we need to take common sense back to Africa. That's what I'm trying to say. That's no problem. Where is common sense? Look at the guy. Can you see him sitting down? Sitting down on the tree and take the saw
the other side.
And he's cutting the thing. Is that common sense? But this happens every day. Can you imagine it that it happens with me every day. Somebody on our platform here, it happens. So one girl one day, they call her French girl, Flair. I never spoke to that girl before. But there is a problem that she wrote me about, and I don't want to disclose it publicly, that I was addressing. So I was just trying to give her covering because, okay, let me just say it. She was a victim of rape, and she was writing me about the situation. So when somebody suffers rape, you need to give them covering. So something was happening, and then they went and she put some of the things that I wrote, and then they wrote their own to add to it. Yes. They added they added all kind of things inside. So, and then put it outside, and people started commenting and going to believe those things. Now, I'm thinking, I came on the platform, I was telling them, so, look, what is your problem? I'm coming here, giving you knowledge truth for free. Who are you to me? You are nobody to me, I don't even know you. So you are now saying, okay, somebody called me, did you say it or not? Did you? Yes. But I said, what's the problem? If you don't like it, go away. You see, you are depending on me. You came here because you came to learn from me. So you had something somewhere, you are coming to query me. Are you the one feeding me? I am the one feeding you. What they are doing, they say, okay, I got annoyed. Maybe he's not holy. Are you holy yourself? Who is holy? Okay, you know what they are doing that way? They went to everybody. They are going there to comment. You are being fed here.
Yeah.
You are being given life here, enlightenment here, truth here, which you will never get anywhere else. You are sitting on the
branch, and
you are cutting off your own branch because I want to know, is it true or not? What's your problem? Hey, Chineke. I said, okay, if you are a member of my church, you could say, okay, I've been paying my tithe here. I've been committed to this house. I've been coming to this. I've been doing this. You are investing something. So because I've invested something, I brought my tithe and offering. I've brought my trust, all that. I have the right to know. I've invested myself here. But here is the opposite. I am the only one investing in you.
Mm-hmm.
What do but you are cutting this happens every day. Okay, for example, somebody said, pray for me, I need a job. I've not been working for 1 year. So what happened? My boss told me to go and do something, and he said it in a rude way. And because he said it in a rude way, I will not tolerate that. So he said, if I will not do it, then I should go. So he fired me. I said, what happened? Because he was rude to me, so I spoke to him back. I said, and it's your boss. So 1 year now, you have not been getting salary. Why couldn't you, if this man is the one that is sustaining you, he's the one that is paying you salary, and he is rude to you, you better say, okay, thank you for that rudeness. You want more?
This is common sense.
You say you got annoyed. Now you are begging me to come and pray for you. I don't think that prayer God is going to answer it. Go and apologize before that man. He doesn't have the right to be rude at me. I said, well, if he doesn't have the right, maybe you will go and be employing him. When you employ him, he will not have the right. But right now that he's the one employing you, you need to know where you are. Know that I don't like. It's just like this guy that is sitting there now. He will say, I'm not comfortable the way I'm sitting. Yeah, you might not be comfortable, but if you cut that enough, I'm not sure it's going to give you more comfort. You might not be comfortable. A lot of things you might not like about that tree or about that branch. But if you cut it off, you are a goner. If you cut that thing, you are a goner. So you must think. You know that you are falling. There is no, this is your source of sustenance.
Cut in some branch.
Or there is another example, I don't want to mention it, but somebody came here to our HMT one day. And, we decided to pay for the person's, the person didn't have enough money. So because the person is on the platform, I just told our people that I will pay for the rest of his. Just take whatever the person has, the amount the person has. Just take the money. The rest I will pay. So the next time the person wanted to come again, He wanted the same amount as the last time. So the office told her that, okay, who will pay the rest of it, like from last time pastor paid? So he wrote to me, he said, I paid this amount last time, so why are they not allowing me to pay the same amount now? So I said, okay, no problem. If that is how much you have, I paid for the other one last time. I will pay also if you want. He said, well, I didn't know that you paid. Because why didn't you tell me you paid the last time? And so because you don't need to pay for me. I don't need you to pay for me. You don't need to pay because I didn't know. If I had known that you paid, I wouldn't have no. Okay, I said okay. So I shouldn't pay. Thank God that. I mean, at least I will keep my money in my own pocket. So I'm not. So I will not come. It means so I will not come. I said okay. Am I the one losing? Now you cannot come. And I said, I will pay again. He said, no, I didn't know that you are paid. They would have told me. And then 2 months later, the person is writing me and say, I need your help. I said, no, you don't need my help.
No.
I said, no. I am not sure you need that help. I said, I'm not sure you need my help. So I just said, what will I write on this kind of thing? I just said, I will not reply, Jerry. Then the person wrote another 1 month and said, Pastor, I wrote you the letter. You didn't please. It doesn't mean you. I said, So come on. I don't know. You understand what I mean? If somebody is sustaining you, use common sense. This tree here that you are seeing is sustaining this person. Even if there is a bird on the air that is poo-pooing on your head, you have to endure that poo-poo because you cannot cut off that thing. No. If you cut it off, you are a goner. I don't know if you say, but I don't. But in this tree here, this branch is a bird is poo-poo on my head, so I'm going to cut it off. Then you are going to the sea. You are going to the abysmal. I don't know what you are getting what I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
Common sense.
It.
Use common sense. Common sense.